na ramoro chumena mataka ko ni rawone ni biba kamara taki ke misa mapo ni ana di sambulu bidang na sero gori sana ni churi kira na moro chumai tu na sele ni sambula oyo Mr. Ben kelapa na magikira ni biba mataka mo ni chikira moro buka maina ono kene diwa ena bula FM
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, urgent meeting called over issuing of license for mineral exploration in Namosi. State drops manslaughter charge against officers charged in relation to Vilike Soko's death in police custody last year. And Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama fears COP21 will be a cop-out, criticises Australia and New Zealand over lack of support. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has called on the Mineral Resource Department and the Minister for Lands to resolve the row over the granting of the special prospecting license to Namosi joint venture to explore minerals in the highlands of Namosi. Ali Kimbia has more.
It was during this Talanoa session at Waibaka village in Namosi when Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama heard that majority of the landowners did not agree to the granting of exploration license to the Namosi joint venture.
The discussion that I know of from the MRD is that everyone had been consulted, but I was not aware that it was destroying your environment, especially the rivers.
With this concern, Bainimarama has called for an urgent meeting to resolve the matter.
The issue will be taken up again to the Lands Minister and the MRD, and there should be an urgent meeting to determine the issues concerning the exploration.
Bainimarama has also assured the people of Namosi that government will not allow any exploration to harm their environment.
I have told the MRD to keep a close watch at the exploration companies not to damage our environment. And when they explore, they should also develop our roads, and they should make sure the equipment they use should be of no harm to the environment.
Despite the extension of the special prospecting license for another 5 years, the Namosi landowners claim that those who were consulted prior to the extension of the license were not included in the Volani Kaumbula. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has dropped the manslaughter charge against the 8 police officers and 1 military officer accused for the death of robbery suspect Vilike Sisoko. The DPP will prosecute the 9 accused for 1 count of rape, while 2 are being charged with 1 count of attempting to defeat the course of justice. Madhyam Bolaitamana has more on the story.
The 8 accused Manasa Talala Serubi Dangusau Kelebi Sewatu Penean Drauna Felice Vere, William Vere Valu, Peter Materavula and Senitiki Natakasabu appeared in the Lautoka High Court this morning. The 9th accused, Chonan Davonu, failed to appear as he is being in remand in Suva for a separate case. The state informed the court it wants to withdraw the manslaughter count but continue with the rape charge. In addition, Manasa Talala and William Vere Valu are also being charged with attempting to defeat the cause of justice by instructing other police officers to make false statements. The defense sought 7 days from the court for a plea on the amended information at the next mentioned date. The state also filed voir dire and additional disclosures in court today. The matter has been adjourned to November 5th to fix a trial date. The 9 men were initially charged with manslaughter for their alleged involvement in the death of robbery suspect Vilike Sisoko in police custody in August last year. Soko is alleged to have been part of the $50,000 heist at the Forex Money Exchange dealership in Main Street, Nandi. Madhyam Bolaitamana, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says there are real concerns that the COP21 climate change summit in Paris will be a cop-out for the Pacific, as it may just be another talk fest. Speaking at the closing of the 2015 Pacific Ministerial Consultation on Climate Change and Health in Nandi last night, Bainimarama says there can be dozens of speeches by world's biggest polluters, yet they continue to stall in making the hard yards required to ensure our future and saving our planet. Madhyam Bolaitamana has more.
Prime Minister Bainimarama taking the uncompromising stand and promising Pacific health ministers in Danarau last night that the region must make its stance and be heard in Paris.
Now we're going to Paris, wearing the usual friendly, compliant Pacific smile. In fact, I will be going to Paris in a Pacific frame of mind and all. Standing shoulder to shoulder with other Pacific leaders, I will sternly remind the industrialized nations of their obligations and press as hard as I can for the adoption of the recent Super Declaration.
Bainimarama also called on Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull to impose a moratorium on development of further reserves of Australian coal and stick to his guns in taking on the issue of climate change.
I urge you, Mr. Turnbull, to heed that call and to side with us in the Pacific against the proponents of coal and the climate change stance in your own government. You have shown leadership on this issue before. Now that you have the job of Prime Minister and can really make a difference, please show leadership again.
Bainimarama pleaded with Turnbull to make good on his previous strong stance in favor of deep and binding cuts in carbon emissions and not betray his principles and the Pacific's position by making deals with those who have enabled him to gain higher office.
I implore you to put our welfare and our very existence as Pacific Islanders before your energy sector. I implore you to highlight to your people that such economic practices are only for short-term gain and not sustainable economically and environmentally.
The Prime Minister will be in Paris along with 16 Pacific Island leaders in 5 weeks' time to make our voices heard on the effects of climate change in our part of the world. Madhyam Bolaitamana, FBC News.
Food safety describes the handling, preparation and storage of food that should ensure foodborne illness is prevented. However, it has been an issue in most parts of the country. Akosita Tale reports the launch of the Fiji Food Safety Association will ensure a number of routines will be followed to avoid health hazards.
Food safety is an important part of food security, and to address this, the newly launched Fiji Food Safety Association will focus on accessing healthier food in the country.
What we are trying to do is we will try and bring awareness, trying to educate people, convince people that food safety is important, and then try and provide training on compliance, implementing HACCP, trying to bring about food safety.
The association will hold extensive consultations with industry and other stakeholders on the food safety framework, as well as engage with other businesses to meet and follow the required food safety guidelines.
We are going to train the farmers, we are going to train market vendors, market training and manufacturing small business enterprises who want to actually export their products, and they are handling food, so they need to be compliant.
Demand for high-quality, nutritious food will continue in the near future, which means food safety and food security will be at the forefront.
Even in Fiji in 2013, diarrhea caused approximately 4% of deaths in children under 5 years of age. And if the food that we eat is not safe, or if it doesn't help us to improve our health, it simply doesn't improve food safety.
The association consists of food manufacturers, retailers, caterers, environmental and health officers, consultants, research organizations, training bodies, as well as students. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
The Fiji Museum is currently putting together an inaugural exhibition called Tuvata to promote a group of Fijian artists. We now join our journalist Aliki Mbi, who is at the launch of this art exhibition at the Fiji Museum. Aliki, what is the Tuvata exhibition?
The Tuvata exhibition simply means working together, showing respect for each other and support for one another. For the first time, the exhibition is driven by visual arts, and this is also for the first time the Fiji Museum has provided the space and the opportunity for these artists to be recognized. And here with me is Prakashni Sharma, one of the organizers of the event. Prakashni, the idea of Tuvata program, how did it all started?
Tawata means a teamwork, working together. Tawata ideas come to the Fiji Museum when our artists here in Fiji. Today we have 11 top artists in Fiji who were not known by people. But Fiji Museum have opened an art gallery for them to be well known by the people here in Fiji and also the people from abroad. If you have a look at the art gallery, all the painting which they have displayed, the name which is given to Tawata mean a teamwork, working together, and the work the 11 artists have done day and night have shown their hard work, like how important their art were, which people are not knowing. So as Fiji Museum, the art has been displayed today here, and the first artist, the winner of the first art, is going to go home with $3,000 cash. It is sponsored by Goodman Filter, and we have Jack's Handicraft, we have Nova Hotel, who have sponsored this artist, and they are the one who have encouraged the artists that they can do more and they can do better.
Thank you, Prakashni.
Still to come on FBC News, National Council of Women proposes for increase in income tax threshold from 16,000 to 18,000.
मेरा चांद मुझे आया है नजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। छाया है नशा मेरे आंखों पर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। रह जाए ना प्यासा मेरा प्यार, मेरे बाहों में भर दे मेरा यार, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। है दोस्तों, मैं हूं जितेन शांडिल। आप रात के बाद हमारे साथ अब रफ्तार प्रोग्राम में 3 से लेकर रात 7 के बीच शामिल हो सकते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम, इट्स हॉट।
The National Council of Women Fiji has proposed that maternity leave for first-time mothers be tax-exempt and that the income tax threshold should be increased from $16,000 to $18,000. This was part of their submission on the income tax bill today before the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
Personal income and
increasing the income tax threshold and introducing an interest exemption on withholding tax for pensioners are just some of the key features of the National Council of Women Fiji's submission.
In the new income tax bill, the income tax threshold is still at 16,000, and this was effective from 2013, where only a 3% increase happened in 2012, I think from 15,600 to 16,000. NCWF feels that the income tax threshold should be at 18,000.
NCWF Board Director Lorraine Foster, while commending the bill, suggested that there are certain gender-specific areas that could be tweaked.
NCWF is suggesting that maternity leave, employment income, be tax exempted for first-time mothers. This extra income will certainly assist the first-time mothers during maternity leave and give them a fair idea on costs of having a baby.
Committee Chair Ashnil Sudhakar noted that while these are good suggestions, there would need to be more analysis on how this would affect government revenue. Authors of the bill, the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority, noted that as administrators of the eventual law, any changes to the actual bill is a policy decision out of their hands.
The public submissions today on the income tax bill concluded with more than 40 submissions received. The bill is expected to be tabled in Parliament at next month's sitting. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Senior government officers have been encouraged to lead and make gender mainstreaming government business. A Permanent Secretary's Policy Dialogue workshop underway in Suva has reminded the heads of various ministries that national gender policy is their business. Akusita Tale reports.
That's all the gendering process.
National gender policy is government business. It is a lunchtime business, discretionary business, or even women's business. The senior officers have been reminded that government relies on their role in the ministries as well as their leadership.
There will be resistance and mindsets that will need to be changed, not only with authority, but with our own evidence base. We need to recognize these challenges and work with our stakeholders. It is not only the right thing to do, but the fair thing to do on behalf of all our citizens.
Implementation of this policy will rely on a combination of further policy development, formally adopted rules and processes with sanctions, and consequences for non-compliance. It will be reinforced with training and learning, collaborative sharing, open feedback loops, decision-making, supervision and monitoring.
It doesn't just stop here, that it has to work, it has to be a living document, and that means resources allocated to it. It's really important that that is done, that the budget reflects the seriousness with which the national gender policy will be taken.
The senior officers have been reminded to use this opportunity to shape historic changes to society and the way people treat each other in their own communities. The workshop ends today. Ako si Tatale, FBC News.
Retailers caught selling fireworks illegally could face a jail term of 2 years and a fine of $800 or more. Director Mineral Resources Malakai Finau issued the warning as the country prepares for Diwali. Farzana Nisha with the details.
With the Festival of Lights just a week away, the skies will be filled with fireworks. Retailers who are licensed to sell fireworks are reminded to do so within the legal requirements.
Our records last year, about 14 shops were found to be selling firecrackers but without the license. I think now is a good time for them to approach the Department for License, because we will be making our visits shortly. And those found without license will confiscate firecrackers they sell.
The department has issued a number of licenses this year, and they are still issuing it as long as the requirements are met.
There are two things. If they don't have the license and if they are found to be selling firecrackers, this is a warning to them to now get the license in place. Otherwise, they will face confiscation.
Mahesh Syndicate Director Mahesh Kumar says they do not see any problems with the warnings given out by the Mineral Resources Department, adding they have already obtained their license. The Suva Retailers Association President Atish Lala says, as far as they are concerned, the precaution is taken as a matter of safety, adding everyone should be regulated.
The public is urged to follow the designated time for fireworks from 5 p.m. to 10 in the evening, except for Diwali Day, which is November 11th, when they can ignite fireworks from 5 p.m. to midnight. Farzana Nisha, FBC News.
Sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up, Fiji football interested in making a bid for Oceania Futsal Championships. And Nasinu was a hive of activity today with its inter-primary sports competition. We'll have these stories and more after the break.
Impula bina na turangan na marama na turbugi na ngone lewa. Impula bina rangone. Kanuita kini marata itiron tapi tinggomian na biyo liba ni Radio Fiji 1 na tabay biti na bonga ni biyano yan. Oya upio rotuang kana muni daw ni bengravi. Na makia mo daw no kita tiri karua moni tiki na barong buka. Ene wasi ngono baru taki kilo mani koro. Iluto na karom.
The Fiji Football Association is seriously considering bringing a major regional tournament to our shores next year. After Tahiti pulled out of hosting the Oceania Futsal Championship, Fiji FA has plans to make a bid for the World Cup qualifying event. Chalen Daudakadaka has more.
Futsal is making leaps and bounds after Fiji football put up its hand to host the Oceania Futsal Championship early next year.
They've thrown the ball in Fiji FA's court to see if we can host it, and we will be looking into it and see if we can host it in Fiji. And this is the last minute that Tahiti has pulled out from hosting the futsal tournament in Tahiti.
The news is a timely boost for the national futsal side, which will undertake a 3-match series against New Zealand in November.
They will play 3 matches with All Whites, 1 match with the New Caledonian team, and 3 matches with Auckland, Waikato, and Bay of Plenty. So this is a 6-match tour for futsal. And at the same time, I'd like to say our New Zealand Fiji Football Association counterpart will be looking after the meals and accommodation for them.
If Fiji secures hosting rights for the Oceania Championship in February next year, it will surely uplift the profile of futsal nationwide.
And Charlie joins us now live with a bit more on what Fiji stands to gain by hosting the Oceania Championship. Charlie.
Well, futsal has taken giant strides forward after a lapse of many years. The local league for the 5-a-side code only took off midway through the year. In Fiji, the futsal is not taken as seriously as the full code, and with the bringing the Oceania Championship to our shores, we'll do two things. One, promote futsal as a genuine sport, and two, give our national side the chance to play in front of its home crowd and give them the boost in confidence to try and qualify for the World Cup in Colombia next year. Jamie.
Thanks for that, Charlie. 9 primary schools took a day off from normal school curriculum today to take part in the inter-primary competition at Rishikul Primary School grounds. Students competed in football and netball in 3 different age group categories. The organizers were pleased with the good number of parents and family members in attendance.
The children are enjoying. They always look forward to this tournament, and so it is our annual event. We organize this tournament every year, and we have a very good support from the head teachers around Nasinui schools.
Other districts are expected to hold similar competitions in the coming weeks. The Fiji national lawn bowls team has taken its preparation to the next level for the upcoming Asia Pacific Championships in New Zealand. The squad has been training since arriving from the Pacific Games in August and is confident of a strong outing. Josephine Navula has the details.
Determined to making it into the World Qualifiers next year, the national bowling reps have been in training since the beginning of this year.
We've been preparing this from before the Pacific Games. We knew that after the Pacific Games we'd be heading off to the World Qualifiers. We had a reasonable outing at the Pacific Games. We had a chance to look at a number of bowlers that we chose.
The team is fielding its top players for the competition.
We've had another set of trials and there's only one player that we've changed out of the whole squad of 10, 5 men and 5 women.
The national squad has also been held by former Australian assistant coach Robert Dobbins during the past couple of weeks.
He's come down and spent 3 weeks with us to help prepare the team, which has been something that we've never had before in terms of an international coach. So
the team will be departing the country on the 17th of next month to compete at the Asia Pacific Championships, which will be held on the 24th of November to the 6th of December. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
The Samoa national 7th side is looking forward to a tough campaign in Levuka this weekend during the Pacific Energy Oval Sevens. It will be an important hit out for Samoa with the Rio Olympics qualifying tournament in New Zealand coming up next month. Talenda Dakadaka has more.
Samoa has turned its back on a horrid season in the 2014-2015 World 7 Series, where it finished a disappointing 10th. With a new coach now at the helm, the men in blue are determined to return to the upper ranks of the world order, and it all starts with the Ovalau Sevens tomorrow.
Almost 2 months of hard training, and we wanted a strong competition before we went to the Oceania qualifiers. And if you're going to play sevens, there's nowhere better than Fiji. So we knew that if we came here, we'd get a warm welcome and we'd also get some good competition.
The Oceania Sevens in Auckland next month is the ultimate goal, with the winner to secure a place in the 2016 Rio Olympics.
To play against some top quality opposition here in Fiji is really, it's where we want to measure ourselves when we come to the Oceanias. If we can compete well here, then I know that we'll go well over in Auckland.
Samoan legend Brian Lima is assisting McGrath with their Olympic Games and World Series aspirations. For now, the team is looking forward to putting in a strong performance in the old capital to start off its season. Talendo Takavaka, FBC Sports.
All Black Aaron Smith, who's had an outstanding World Cup campaign, is enjoying his stay in the United Kingdom. The halfback had not thought of playing in the World Cup final 4 years ago, but is now relishing the experience. Smith says the journey so far has been overwhelming and that a win in the final will be great. The Rugby World Cup final between the All Blacks and the Wallabies kicks off at 5 a.m. on Sunday, and you can watch it live on Fbctv. That's it from Sports Tonight. Good evening.
A new Fiji Football Financial Committee was announced last night to look into generating income for the organisation. Headed by economist Ravin Swami, the committee has set out a roadmap with a time frame of 10 years to turn Fiji FA into a financially sustainable sporting body.
Districts will benefit as well, and the projects that we're looking at is our Knowledge Street property, which we want to develop into a commercial property, and Fiji FA House, which is near Albert Park. We're looking at extending that property as well. We have got properties in Ndawa where we're looking at setting up a mall. So these are a few projects in pipeline that we are looking at, which will generate sufficient fund for Fiji FA.
Moderate trade winds and fresh afternoon sea breezes brought a fine sunny day to Fiji. It was warm across the country, with Suva and Ba hitting the highest at 30 degrees. All other major centres were in the high 20s, while Sabu was coolest at 28. Expect another warm night tonight. Tomorrow, the hot weather will continue under hazy skies across Viti-levu and Vanua-levu, with the usual slight chance of showers in the east. And looking ahead to Saturday and the weekend, we expect this fine weather to continue. Seas will be moderate to rough. And recapping the main stories tonight, urgent meeting called over issuing of license for mineral exploration in Namosi. State drops manslaughter charge against officers charged in relation to Vilike Sissoko's death in police custody last year. And Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama fears COP21 will be a cop-out and criticises Australia and New Zealand over lack of support. Our poll question this week, we're asking: are you happy with the 7 hours given to use fireworks on Diwali Day? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Bye for now.